Hello and welcome to another edition of Up the Pilgrims. This is episode 9 and this is the podcast all about Boston United. And I am joined once again by David Gatons and Tom Stedman. Hello, chaps.
Hello, hello.
So,
Hey,
has it
Dame,
much...
all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. So, has much been happening lately?
You could say so, David. You could say so. Yeah, well, last night we had that little result we had at Alfreton, that playoff quarter final, which Boston stayed on the right side. I'm sure we'll jump into that.
I'm sure that could be mentioned, you know. There was a little game at Alfreton last night, wasn't there, I believe? And a few people from Boston went, I understand. And and yeah, it just seemed quite an interesting game. I think the game itself was um, there was a few chances between each team. I thought Alfreton were the better team overall, but Boston, yeah, I think, in the end, pulled it out and out the bag of the penalty shootout, and very happy to see that.
Mm.
Very,
Uh,
a very unlike Boston performance by the sound of it. Really, recently, like you say, they went over to Hereford like we saw on Saturday. This was a completely different side of the spectrum kind of game, wasn't it? We all knew that this was going to happen as well. David summed it up lovely in the last episode about what we're going to expect from Billy Heath's side. And he was spot on. He was even spot on
Yeah.
with his prediction as well, which I'm really disappointed about. No, workmanlike performance, defending, unbelievable resilience. I think that is the word of the day: resilience to get over that line and get to where we need to be. There was under the cosh by what I've seen and heard about
Yeah.
it. So to get over the line and to get a penalty win. I think I mentioned to you guys just before coming on there, that's the first time Boston's won a penalty shootout in 8 attempts. When it went to penalties, I nearly turned the radio off, I'll be honest, because I thought that'd be it. I'm so glad I didn't know. But yeah, I'm sure David can
You were
give you really.
lucky.
I'm sure
yeah,
You
David
could
can give
that's
turn
you
it
a
a
off.
what?
We
really
were there.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm sure David can give you a really good overview of what he thought of the game as well, being there in person. But yeah, fantastic to get over the line.
David.
yeah, yeah. Overall, it was a poor game, but when you play against an Alfreton team, you know what they do. It always brings down a notch. You basically got to spend all your effort just putting yourself on the line, heading the ball away, booting it out. We never really got playing our stuff, but we did. In my opinion, you could feel like, especially going into that extra time. I thought we did well to get to extra time without conceding. There's a few chances where I couldn't see because I was stood right behind the goal, but the ball literally dropped and everybody just clambered over it. It's like that you've gone down in rugby or something. Everybody just
Yes.
clambered on the ball, and I was thought, oh, this it's gone in, it's gone in. But those
Yeah.
were the scary moments. But we did well to get past there. Like I said, I thought we did well to keep it at 0-0, and then it kept going. I was like, what's the point if we're gonna play extra time? Because I just thought we were gonna buckle like as soon as, and we kept going and kept going, kept proving me wrong. And then it started to pick up in that away end. Like, okay, we've got through. We've nullified Alfreton's threat, which is long balls and whatever in the box slinging it. I have to say the centre backs last night were amazing.
They
Zach Mills
were.
and Michael Bostwick, bloody hell, what a performance from those
Yes.
two. Everything in the box, and everyone on that team. Same again as the Hereford game. I don't think there's a few like Sam Smart, a few substitutions that came on. I mean, when you're playing against a team like that, they're in that position for a reason. We know how they play. It's hard. It's really hard to play against the Billy Heath side, and we just did well to get to the penalties. And then we have to talk about the penalties themselves. Yeah, but we scored all five, which is I was really surprised about, because Boston usually,
I
like Tom
was.
said earlier, shocking penalty record. But yeah, we got through, and I said to my mates stood next to me, Giassi is going to be the man. So maybe I'm the guy with the magic ball. I don't know. I'll tell the crystal ball. I said Giassi will be the man to score, and he steps up and scores. And wow, just the scenes at the end. We, like I say, we just did well to stay in the game, and we just had that chance, and we grasped it with both arms. And now we've got a big tie against Scunthorpe United on Saturday.
Well, I think you were the only one, David, that was in the away end when Gassi was going to take the final penalty and thinking, oh yeah, he's going to score. He's going to score. I think most of us were like, oh no, we've saved a penalty.
It was written in the stars, Damo.
It was, but the thing I found weird as well was towards the end of extra time, Alfreton got a free kick, right sort of at the side near the corner flag.
Yeah.
And they seemed to be taking their time as though they were kind of expecting penalties, as though they wanted penalties, I found. And so then for them to go and lose it, it was, a bit strange that.
Yeah, a bit of a battle of fatigue by the sound of it. It sounded like come from the radio, actually, that we looked like the fitter side coming out of extra time. And they were quite content, like you say, with what they had. One massive thing to take note of as well, guys, is that what an absolute masterclass to actually change that front line and bring on them four. I think it was 4 people in the end, weren't it? With Gyasi coming on, Sam Smart, Satona, and Jacob Hazel. 3 of them took penalties and scored, and it was so easy for them guys to leave Jimmy Knowles and Kelsey Mooney on, who have scored all them goals all season. Them 4 haven't really fired. Apart from Hazel when he was fit, obviously, but them 4 really haven't fired or hit the ground running really recently. What fantastic faith to put in then to go and put them out on the pitch and then give them the ball at the end of the game to say, go on then, lads, go and win it for us. I tell you what, that just proves to me at the minute, this is not a squad of 11. This is a squad of 16, 18 happy people in that squad who are more than happy to step up and come to the front. At the minute, it's brilliant because if one guy's not doing it, somebody else is. And we're going to need every one of them come Saturday, aren't we?
We are. I think everyone's just going to have to pull together, including the fans, of course, as well, which at this moment in time, I understand, is nearly a sellout in the Boston United end. And I believe we're up to 4 coaches possibly on the Bussa at the moment, BUSA. So things are... it's going to be a big turnout on Saturday. It's going to be a big army of Boston fans travelling up to Scunthorpe.
Yeah, well, these are the games that you want to be a part of, and this has the potential to be the biggest game this level has ever seen. I believe Scunthorpe think that they will break the attendance record. They broke it earlier in the season, but this will take the cake. 1,500 Boston fans capacity. I believe we sold 1,200 and it's 2:00. Bear in mind, we probably finished playing about 11:15 last night. I was still in the ground at 11:00. I was like, what's going on?
Same here.
It's my legs are starting to ache as well. I had to lean on the barrier at the end. I never stood for that long before. But back to Scunthorpe. Yeah, loads of people. It should be a great day. I know loads and loads and loads of people coming just to support the boys and hope we can get through. And we've had 2 draws against them. Who says we can't go and win this? That we've done well against an anti-football side. We showed that we can defend our box. We've shown that we can defend the throw-ins, the corners, all the set pieces. Now it's time to play against a better footballing side, who I believe this year we're better at playing against other footballing sides. Like I said before, we're better on the ball. We can out football. I believe we can out football Scunthorpe, and I believe we can go there and cause an upset and hopefully get to the final.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, one disappointment last night, I would say, was obviously the sending off of Ian Culverhouse. He kind of got in the way of a bit of a throw-in, didn't he, for Alfreton? And the referee obviously didn't take too kindly to that and sent him to the stands. So, but obviously Boston carried on. They sorted out the penalty takers and, went on to win it. But, I mean, will he be on the bench on Saturday, do you think, or...
I believe that it's actually only the touchline ban doesn't go over, so I believe he will be there on Saturday.
Right.
What interesting on the radio was that the 4th official was scouring the tunnel area to make sure he didn't go out and watch them because he's not allowed to. So the first question they asked Joe Simpson on a radio interview last night was, how did he get to know about him? And he said the only time he knew was when they heard Boston cheer and the Gyasi song. Trademark to David as well here, because David actually got this started a few weeks back at the Chorley game. He said that was the first time he probably heard that Boston had won over there. There was no phone contact, there was nothing else like that. And like I said, the 4th official was scouring that tunnel to make sure he couldn't see it, because he wasn't allowed to do any media from it yesterday as well, due to that sending off.
Right.
But yeah, he should be there on Saturday for that absolute mammoth game that we know we've got coming up with them. It's going to be such a task for us that. But do you know what? If you asked 100 Scunthorpe fans yesterday for that game who they wanted to play on Saturday, they tell you 100 would say Alfreton. Nobody wants to play Boston at the minute. Nobody.
No.
We've got a bigger following. We're better football inside. We've given 2 scares this season already. And we've got all the tools and all the ammunition to go there and do it. And again, I don't care what any Scunthorpe fan says. They want to sell out that place. That's fine. That's going to heat the pressure on that home end, isn't it? And them home players. It's going to make our, we can go with 1,500 fans shackles off, can't we? We can have a party, really, can't we?
Yeah.
If we come out,
Yeah.
if we come out the other end of it, we're going to be exactly the same, aren't we? Like you say, like we've been from these last 2 results. The pressure's all on them. I don't care what any Scunny fan comes to me and says. The pressure is all on them. An absolute sellout and a league they should have absolutely stormed and got done by January is now proven to be an absolute mammoth marathon for them. They don't want these extra games, these players. And do you think, like I said, do you think they want to play us? No, they would have loved Alfred. Small away following, small atmosphere, more home fans. On, lads. That's all I can say. Bring it on.
Yeah, have to agree with you there. I mean, the only part that I'm a little bit worried about is that our players played 120 minutes last night, then obviously had the penalties, and now they've got to go into a game just in a few days' time against Scunthorpe, who obviously did finish second, are more of a professional team than Boston. I mean, it shows that, obviously they're going to have nearly 4,000 to 5,000 fans in the ground as well on Saturday, and they're going to be right behind their team. And it's not going to be a pushover by any means. But then again, I do wonder: is this Boston's year? If we were out of the playoffs, then it looked as though we might not make it. Then suddenly we've made it with the last game. Then we've won on a penalty shootout. Are we looking at a miracle this year? Can we actually do it? Can we get promoted?
Yeah, I think it's different this year. Things have just fell our way so far. You just got to think that defining moment back at Hereford last week when it just rolled and bounced onto that post. You could just see the lift in the crowd of especially the Boston and trying to get them going again. And we did well yesterday. Alfreton did have chances. They had loads and loads and loads, but it was an onslaught. We did well to defend them. And yeah, it just looks up. It's different this year. Like I said before, the youth of this squad, they take risks, and that's what we need. We need to take it in those dire positions where we're losing games, and we kept going until the end last night. I was really surprised that, I guess it is the playoffs. Your whole season does come in the space of 90 to 120 minutes, but they just applied themselves really well. Every one of the players. I was surprised that the game was still as active and how energetic the play styles were at 120 minutes. And it did sort of slow at the end, but that's because we both realised that we were going to get penalties. And yeah, we just had to prepare ourselves mentally for that, because we've been a bogey side with penalties before. But yeah, it's just different this year, in my opinion, Damien. And like you say, there's no way I think they'll walk us over like some of them are saying on Saturday. It'll be a real test and a great game of football. And this may be Boston's year indeed. But we say that every year. We say that every time, and we always get brought back down to reality.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, a big shout out as well to the fans last night. The Boston United fans turned out in their numbers. I don't know what the official attendance was last night.
People have been getting blocked for asking the official
right.
That might tell you something. That there was a fair few there. I reckon 800, 900 or so, maybe even 1,000. You never know. We've got over 1,000 going on Saturday, so let's see.
Yeah, and I mean, fair enough to Alfreton as well. I mean, their fans did seem to come out in force as well. I don't know, obviously, what it was like at the league fixture earlier in the season and how packed it looked. But, I mean, behind that goal at the opposite end, it seemed quite bad, really, didn't it?
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't like the way towards the end they were shining their lights as well with the penalties. And that seemed to be frustrating. And the referee did nothing.
Yeah, the 5 of them to keep their concentration during that penalty shootout was fantastic, weren't it? And by the way, what penalties they were. Big shout out to Cam Gregory as well, who nearly got hold of all of them.
He did.
He went. If you watch him back, he could have easily had 2 or 3 of them. Very, very close to them. And again, I think we mentioned it a little bit last week as well. He's got to take some plaudits from this as well, because he's come into his own these last few weeks again, and he's clearly coming to peak at the right time for us. I think he's got a massive game to play on Saturday for us, to be honest with you, our GK. For as long as we can keep a clean sheet against them, we've always got a chance, haven't we, I think. So that first goal, we say it every game as well, cliche, but it's going to be a massive, massive point in this playoff game. Loads to look forward to. But yeah, like you say, to Alfreton as well, massive concentration for them penalties. And like I said, all stuck away really, really well. And apparently they all, Giassi said at the end that he wanted number 5. All the players just nominated. There was no set 5. They all just said, we all want them. We're all taking them. Regular penalty takers were all gone. Keaton Ward, Martin Woods, Knowles and Mooney could take a penalty, but all 4 of them were sat on the bench, so none of them could take one. So big kudos to it was a good mix of experience, I thought, and youth who took them penalties, and that they showed some guts and some right bottle to go up to that far end. All them shenanigans going on behind that goal took them away, and that's what sees us go to Glanford Park.
Yeah, I mean, I saw one individual that seemed to be trying to cause havoc. He was kind of sat on a high up, and I think when it came to once the penalty was saved, that Giassi one, he wasn't really trying to put him off then. I think he knew that one particular supporter seemed to think then, oh well, it's finished.
Some of ours did as well. The flare was on by the time Gregory saved it.
He did.
We've not won yet. But no, like I said, full confidence in Giassi. Just goes up and puts it down a bit. I believe we had 3 out of 5 went down the middle, which is also interesting. Willis definitely expected Bostwick to go down the middle because he didn't move an inch, and he smashed it into the top bin. It's in essence of Harry Maguire at the Euros a few years ago.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm really looking forward to Saturday. I'm really looking forward. It's going to be a great atmosphere, up there in Scunthorpe, and just the whole day I'm looking forward to, and hopefully Boston can somehow pull it off again. It's got to be finished once again. We don't really want it to go to extra time or penalties again, do we? Especially after last night. At least we get to sit down, I guess, at Scunthorpe.
Yeah, that's true, but I can't see many sitting in their seats, if I'm honest. And whilst we record this as well, we've got to mention as well that I'll be having a well-deserved rest today, our players. There's another massive semi-final tonight in the Curzon Ashton versus Chorley tonight.
Yes,
and that could have massive bearings on Boston's pathway to the final. Should we come up trumps against Scunthorpe, because it could mean that Curzon Ashton at home at the Jatemans or Chorley away on the finals day. But of course, we can't talk about that until Saturday's out the way.
No.
But I reckon that'll be a good game tonight, actually, between two sides. I think that'll be a very decent watch. So we'll see what happens from that one.
Yeah, I think it's one that I'm going to try and catch tonight, for sure. And I think we'll be supporting Curzon on that one. I mean, wouldn't that be fantastic if we got if we got to the final and we got a home game? I mean, that would be amazing. A lot better than having to travel to somewhere like Chorley, or I suppose Brackley as well. They're in it, aren't they, as well? So they're awaiting the winners of tonight's game. So, that should be a good semi-final as well on the other end. So, some very important and great games to come.
Yeah, well, tonight's game, it's Curzon Ashton. You have to say props to them and Craig Mahon, their manager. They're not a very big club. They don't get very big attendances. But what I believe is their centre back, and then he stepped up this year into that managerial role, and he's guided them all the way to the top. And I thought they were going to slip up, but no, they stayed there. They've kept there. What a wonderful achievement that would be if they could beat Chorley tonight. Like you say, we always I don't know if they're underdogs because they're a quality side. They beat Boston back in early in the season. So yeah, I probably want Curzon to win just for the fact that I don't really want to go back up to Chorley again. It would be nice to have a home playoff final, like you say, Damien. And yeah, I think I'll be back in Chorley. Curzon tonight. They both start with C's. I got mixed up.
Just on that, Damo, as well. I think that this could be a pivotal point if we get a home tie in this National League North final. If we let's dream a little bit, and we get there. This could be a pivotal point for this stadium and this atmosphere. There's been critics about the stadium, about the atmosphere at home games. Hard to get an atmosphere going, hard to get behind the team, not as much singing, not as much going on. This could be a massive, massive point in Boston United's history in the Jakeman's Community Stadium. This will be the biggest game that stadium's seen yet and could be the absolute catalyst going forward for getting the home fans back on side, back behind the team from minute one. David will tell you as well, at the minute, away trips and away games just seem like a different gravy compared to home games. That ground needs this game. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's been starved of a good game so far since we got there, hasn't it?
It has.
And this could be the one that ticks it off and really kickstarts us calling at our home and trying to make it again a fortress, not only on the pitch but off the pitch as well.
Yeah, got to agree with you on that one. It really does need it, and if it came, like you said, we can dream at the moment. And yeah, if it does get there, then absolutely fantastic. Another thing I just want to mention, going back to last night as well, is myself and David obviously never heard it because we were at the game, but you did, Stedders, the radio commentary. BBC Radio Lincolnshire were doing live coverage at the game. And you were having a listen, and Craig Singleton there, Rob Makepeace, I believe, was on the commentary. And it got very emotional, didn't it? Especially for Craig Singleton, who is the club secretary.
Yeah, I caught a bit of it back as well. I listened to it again this morning. It just proves how much that this club is mean to these people, doesn't it? Craig Singleton does a fantastic job over there. He wears many hats over there. I sometimes struggle to think about what title to call him under because he's a secretary. He sorts everything out commercially, sponsorship, radio, media. The guy's, I think he's a workaholic, to be honest with you. But that's kudos to him, isn't it? You know, he loves that club. And he was virtually in tears on that radio stream last night, which was fantastic to hear when we finally got over. Because, again, penalties have just been our absolute downfall, haven't they? The only time I've cried, Dame, at a Boston game is when we lost a penalty shootout to Chorley. And that is the only, I'm a man to admit that. That's the only time I've cried at a football game. But it just shows how much behind the scenes this means to these guys as well, doesn't it? But I think again, somebody mentioned it on social media earlier. I think it was one of our very beloved fans. He says that this one just feels different, and it does.
Yeah,
it just feels different this time to 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we scraped in. We was happy with what we got, but this just hits differently this time in some ways, shape, or form. It's hard to put a finger on why. But it just feels like it's just a different evolving Boston United this time. This is a real marker to see where we've come in the past 2 years. And that's credit due to the hybrid system and the management, again, for getting it right on the pitch. At times, it looked like we'll be out of it, didn't it? And again, David mentioned real killer moments throughout the season. When the guy from Scarborough missed that open goal, I think he's on my Christmas card list. Because if he doesn't miss that, none of this, what we are talking about, or these past 3 episodes, ever happened. So
no, that's true. That we would have been packed up for the summer and getting our swimming shorts out and going on holiday.
Yeah.
But I mean, there has been a lot of rumours, you know, and we're not going to hide behind the rumours. There have been rumours where people have said, "Oh, the club's not ready to go up, and financially, and maybe they don't want to go up," and they're, you know, all these silly rumours that are going about. And come on, the emotion last night proves to you a man that's in the club that does, like you said, all them different jobs who are in the club is emotional like that. That I think that just proves to you, isn't it, that they want this as much as we do.
Yeah, I just want to talk about something else. The link between the team and the fans last night was incredible. Obviously, pitch invasion for a quarter final playoff game. Not so sure about that, but I went on the pitch to congratulate Michael Giassi. Yeah, I just felt he needed a bit of encouragement, and he got his chance, and he's definitely, I think he's sealed his name into the Boston United Hall of Fame, or definitely into many people's memories last night. And yeah, it's just nice to see all the players and the coaching staff celebrating with all the players, with all the fans at the end in that away end, in that packed away end, that we probably will never ever know the attendance for, because I don't think it'd be something that Alfreton would like to release. But yeah, that it's never been this compact. It's never been unified as this before, and it's just a real feel good factor around the club at the moment.
Well, it was crazy because when they obviously scored the penalty, we were celebrating, jumping up and down and whatever. Then suddenly, Jacob Hazel kind of just ran to us, ran past me, ran. I don't know where he was going to, but yeah, suddenly Jacob Hazel's like there. It's like, what's going on?
With a flair as well. We would have got that.
Yeah.
And again, we're talking about guys who've not played much football at all. So to get back out on that field and pay a contribution in this playoff push must mean so much to each one of them players. I don't know what they're feeding them in terms of motivation before games or off the pitch in Ellanders, but whatever it is, guys, just keep feeding it to them because it's working, isn't it? Whatever's going on behind the scenes, I reckon there's a lot of good leaders in that dressing room at the minute, which are firing them all up and getting them all going. They say they don't do a lot in terms of pre-match talks, but I'm pretty sure that come Saturday they might have to go and have a bit of a G up inside there. But it doesn't sound like they need any Damo. They sound so self-motivated, don't they? And willing to get the job done for this club. And let's face it, even the non-Boston United fans must admit we've been in this league far too long now. We're now talking 14 years at this level, aren't we? Something ridiculous like that. You know, it's time. It's just got to be our time at some point. We can't keep doing this, and it just feels like it could be this season. Obviously, we've got plenty of games to go. We've got 2 massive games potentially to go again, and they're going to be hard games. But the fans, the connection, the club, the management, everybody seems to just be pulling in the right direction at the minute. And long may that continue, because that can only bring one thing, and that's success.
Yeah, definitely have to agree with you on that one. Yeah. So something else I just want to bring up, going away from that, while we're on the subject, something that's been in the news just lately, while we're on here, is the FA Cup. Now, the FA have now decided that there's going to be no replays in the FA Cup from next season, which has upset many clubs. I think the main reason it's upset many clubs is because it was decided between the Premier League and the FA. And obviously it's going to affect clubs from the EFL right down past Boston, right through to the other clubs that start off in August that have to play. You know, what's your guys' views on it?
Yeah, one word: absurd. I have to, I'm going in hot, guys. So yeah, it's insane, really. I believe that the difference from the Football League to the Premier League has never ever been greater than it is before. They just want to keep their compact little group, and they all make the decisions. Just talking about the big 6, it's really the big 6 that make the decisions. It's all very political and everything, and that's why I enjoy, and many of us enjoy watching this level, step 6, step 7, even the Football League. It's more exciting. There's less politics about. Yes, the standard is arguably, maybe not, sometimes it's worse, but it's more enjoyable, and you got a family sense about some of the clubs. And what that does is it stops the replays. So I believe in the FA Cup, when you go away, you get half of the ticket proceeds. So if we were fighting, let's say we get a Premier League team at home please. If we get a Premier League team at home next season, we get half of the proceeds of what. No, sorry. If we go away, we get half of the proceeds of what they get, and that just helped. We've seen it before. We saw it with Kidderminster a few years ago. That's propelled them. They've got into the National League. Yes, they've come back down, but that playoff push must have really helped their financial gain. They must have nearly beaten West Ham. That they packed the stadium out for the first time in so many years. Reading as well. They beat Reading. Loads of people jumping on the bandwagon. It just offers that financial incentive for these clubs. And with that going, that being scrapped past round 1, which is basically where all the non-league teams play the EFL teams, and then after that, all the big boys come in round 3. It's just absurd that they say it's to promote and help the bottom leagues even more by not playing as many games, but it's stupid. I'm sure clubs would rather financial safety than overwork players and overwork legs. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. I totally agree with David. Imagine Boston United drawing Tottenham away. Go in there, right? Getting 90 minutes out of them, drawing 0-0. Job done, guys. Job done. It's a joke, isn't it? Absolute joke.
Yeah.
To these small ties that, like I say, dream ties have now been taken away from little clubs. Their time to shine. David mentioned it about financial. I will use the ones in our county as well. Lincoln City had one, didn't they? Not so long ago. A massive run in the competition, and that's boosted their player budget. Now look at them; they're fighting for playoffs in League One up to the Championship.
Yeah,
you can't tell me that these cup runs have not helped boost that budget and help getting their players in the quality they've got at the minute from them cup games. It's absolutely ludicrous, and I hope for the sake of football, for the sake of grassroots, for the sake of non-league, that this gets overturned at some point in the future, very soon. I know loads of clubs have put out statements and things like that to say they don't agree with it, and long may they continue. Boston haven't put one out yet because we're kind of busy at the minute, but long may it continue. An absolute farce, if you ask me, David and Damo. Sorry.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. And I mean, especially like you say as well, if you get, say, I don't know, Man United at home, and you do manage to get a draw with them, well, if under the new rules, you're not going to be able to go to somewhere like Old Trafford, or if you get Man City and go to the Etihad, and you want to. The smaller clubs want to go to these places and play at these massive grounds and that they see on TV each and every week, and they're missing out on the chance. And I think it's more they're doing it more for their own clubs in the Premier League because of European competitions and obviously they've got all these other ones. That's why I think they're doing it now. It's just to sort of help themselves, really. It's nothing to do. They're not helping the lower league teams, are they, anymore?
They're helping the money makers. That's what they're doing. They're protecting their gains, and why English football, because like Man United, what their history, you're not going to protect that. There's probably the most well supported club in the world, and all they're doing is just protecting the big boys and keeping the money coming into English football, and that's not how it should be. They're just trying to protect the financial, the gainers, and letting the clubs that really struggle. We've seen clubs down in the EFL and in non-league really struggle. We had didn't we have Nuneaton go again this year? And these are the clubs that the FA should be intervening and helping, but no, all they seem to do is look after their friends in their ivory towers.
So I mean, they're talking about boycotting the cup next season. Do you think teams should do that?
Well, it's probably up to I say individual teams will probably take on individual stances on it. But like you say, it's European football now, Damo, isn't it? I'm sorry, but you look at some of the sides that these big teams put out in the FA Cup these days. You're barely seeing first teamers even touch these FA Cup sides, are you? Champions League and European football is big money, big bosses, like you say, just lining the pockets of all them ones at the top. And it'll never get filtered down to the system again. This could just be the start as well. That's the real poor part about it.
Yeah.
This could be the start. I mean, the League Cup's taken a bit of a back seat as well recently, hasn't it? There's never been, clubs don't really commit too much to that in the early rounds of this now. So, and then they've started putting reserve sides in them, haven't they? And things like that, and under 23s. And I've just got a feeling this could be the start of something very terrible for the lower league football. And just one of the perks that these guys get. And yeah, again, you go and ask one of these Boston United players at the minute. One of their dreams is to play in the FA Cup away at a big ground, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, that's probably the first time they kicked a football is probably their dream to do that. To think that could be taken away by some stupid rule like this, like I say, I use the word again, absolutely ludicrous, isn't it?
Yeah, have to agree with you. So I'm sure Boston will have a say in that in the coming weeks. Once all the dust has settled with everything that's going on at the moment, I'm sure they will have something to say about that, and we shall have to wait and see what happens. And maybe the FA might look into it and think, okay, maybe we were wrong. But I guess time will tell on that. So back to Boston and Saturday then. Scunthorpe United away at the Attis Arena. Is it? That's what it's called these days?
Glanford Park.
Glanford Park, isn't it?
For sponsorship. Oh, we get to hear all the sponsors again. That's the great
That's
thing.
right. And the substitution board, which is sponsored by.
I knew they were bad with financial difficulty, but Christ Almighty, wow, it was an interesting experience. But luckily, I remember for Hazel's goal, it was like something like 5 minutes added, sponsored by something accountant, and they just has it in the back of the net and it just lands in the bottom corner. It just made it a bit better in that way.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I think at Banbury, actually, was it Banbury? I watched a game recently. It must have been. It was one of the lower leagues. I'm sure it was back the Banbury game. I watched that on TV, and the commentator every time Banbury brought a player on or substitution, it was always, and this is the player sponsored by this person, and they were actually giving like the person who sponsored the player and everything. It was crazy. The things that happen, but
oh yeah, absolutely, like you say. But yeah, coming back to that Saturday game, once the sponsorships are all out of the way and that whistle goes at 3 o'clock, it's going to be some atmosphere inside there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. It's a Lincolnshire derby. It's winner takes all. 90 minutes. I hope it is for the sake of both sets of fans.
All you need to do is ask me. I'll tell you. I'm gonna say.
We'll get David's prediction in a minute.
Yeah, go on then. Tell us.
Go on. We're all waiting
now,
for you, David. Yeah,
now.
For it.
Okay.
Your crystal ball out.
Yeah, I'm just honing it. I'm gonna go. Who won Boston? But we're gonna concede first. We're gonna concede and we're gonna score and Deji Tatone is gonna score 1. And then Michael Bostwick's going to score the winner off a corner. I know they've got big centre-backs. Yeah. But it all could be rubbish come 5 o'clock on Saturday, so we'll just have to see. What do you guys think?
Oh, it's a tough one, actually. It is hard. Oh. I want to say a 1-0 win to Boston. I'm going to say a 1-0 win. I'm hoping that the defence is going to hold as strong as they did last night. It's going to be a lot tougher holding Scunthorpe than it was Alfreton. But I'm going to say a 1-0 win with Jimmy Knowles getting the goal.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I've taken both of yours onto account. I'm not too sure on this one at all. This is all the analogies you like, but this is a toss of a coin game. This one again, absolutely. You could go either way, goal either side. I think it will be a goal either side as well. So either a 2-1 or a 1-0 win. So I'm going to sit with both of you a little bit. But I think it's pivotal that Boston keep that clean sheet for as long as they can and stay in the game. They've got to stay in the game. There's going to be amounts of pressure. The away game down there in the league, wasn't it? It was a game of two halves. Boston's first half looked very toothless, and Scunthorpe looked very good. Could have scored 3 or 4, be out of sight. Boston just managed to cling onto the coattails and come out a different side in the second half. if they have to do that again, they can do that. They've got that in their locker. But the last thing that Boston need to be is two down after 15 minutes and chasing that game. They need to keep that resilience that showed last night. Take it out into that Scunthorpe pitch. Stay in the game, as far as I'm concerned. Be in the game at 60 minutes for all I'm care, and then see what happens past there. But let's face it, guys. I think now we're at the point where we'd love a win, but we've got to be happy with how we've gone so far in these playoffs, don't we? And the season in general.
Yeah. Just looking forward to it. Let's just hope we can go there, and let's hope that on our next podcast next week that we are talking about the final. Fingers crossed we are. But
we'll have to see.
Right, well, thank you very much, both of you. You're going to go off and try and get some kip now.
Yeah, truly,
definitely. And yeah, and look forward to Saturday. And we're all going, are we?
Oh, of course, yeah. We'll
I wouldn't miss this for anything.
Yeah. Got my tickets, got my coach booked, so looking forward to it very much.
And if you guys haven't got tickets, I don't know, they might sell out by the time we upload this. Make sure you get them.
Yes,
they're not going to last, and they will not give us any more. No
that's
way.
True. No, that's very true.
Less than 300 now, I think. I believe.
Something like that.
1,500, less than 300 to go. They're going to go, guys, aren't they? Like,
yeah.
It's bonkers. It's not even 24 hours since we last finished the game.
That's it, yeah.
And we've sold nearly 1,200. So, yeah, get on the tickets, guys. We can't. And the booster buses as well, which I think runs to number 4, like we said earlier on in the podcast. Get it booked up. Get behind the guys. Bring your singing voices. It's going to be one hell of an atmosphere.
Yeah. Fantastic. Right. Brilliant. Well, thanks very much, guys. And don't forget, if you want to subscribe, you can watch us on YouTube, Up the Pilgrims. Subscribe to that. We're on Apple Music, we're on Spotify, and we're on Amazon Music. So, yeah, have a listen and please subscribe. Right, guys. Thank you very much. And we will speak to you next week.
Yes, Up the Pilgrims.
Up the Pilgrims.
See you all at Glanford Park, guys. Thank you.
See you all at Glanford Park.